What's up? It's Scottie Beam, and you are tuning in to Black Girls in Media Conversation Series.
Hi,
baby. Hi.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, and I'm really excited because this is our kickoff, right? If you don't know, we have this media conversation series thing like often, and we took a little break. You know, like that. What's that Nicki Minaj reel or that sound that they say? I took some time off.
Yeah. And now you're back, bitches.
Yes,
that one.
exactly. That's exactly how it is. So I'm excited that our kickoff is with you today. Now, I just want to hop on into it. Scottie, right? So first of all, we have Scottie Beam, and we have Deani Scott.
Yes.
Now, I want to know, who is Scottie and who is Deani? Like, is there a difference between the two?
I think my friends and family would be able to tell the difference more than I could. I do know that there is a version of me that people don't see. Like, I know my friends are like, you're really funny. Like, people don't know that you're really a funny person, or people don't know that I'm kind of chill. I'm a chill person. But other than that, I think maybe that's a problem, that I don't see I blur the line a little bit. I don't necessarily see a difference. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could do that more, have a Scottie Beam and have a Deani, but I do think that there's more intimate parts of me that people don't know from the outside looking in.
Now, with that being said, I do want to take a quick step back into like your growing up, your childhood. First of all, before we get into all the way into the childhood, I didn't know that you attended an HBCU briefly. You attended Clark Atlanta. I'm a product of an HBCU as well with Adele State. So, I'm really excited to, I'm really excited to speak to, some HBCU heads. And although you didn't finish out at Clark Atlanta, you are the product of an HBCU. So do you think that experience helped shape you to who you are
now? Absolutely. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for HBCU. It was less of the schooling, more of the people that were there that actually helped me get to where I am today. So it was the relationships that I've built through HBCU, through, the 2.5 years I was there. So yeah, I think it was, definitely, it needed to happen. Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for HBCU, if it wasn't for Clark Atlanta University. It wasn't. And the people made it. Yeah.
That's how I feel too. Like, I tell everybody that my experience in college, like, it was cool. Like, I didn't necessarily educationally learn many. I mean, I did, right? I was a mass comm major.
Right. So, you learned.
That was like,
right.
Mass comm majors really don't. They always say that if you don't know what to choose mass comm. Like, if you don't know the major. So people, would say that we didn't get much learning, but we learned, right? But I felt like a lot of my experience at my HBCU was mainly the people, and I learned so many life lessons there. And I don't know, I learned so many lessons about being Black. Like, it was, I was raised, the way that I went through schooling, I went to a school that was like predominantly white, and then I went to a school that was like mixed, and then I went to another school that was predominantly white, and then I went to an HBCU, and I was like, wow.
What made you want to go to HBCU?
I've always wanted to go to an HBCU. My entire community, we're all D9. Everybody was a Delta. Everybody was a Q. All that stuff. So everybody was saying, go to an HBCU. It's so great for your Blackness. It's so great for you to learn, to be with your people, to learn more about your culture. And I'm not saying I didn't learn about my culture growing up, but it was more so, just I loved it. I only applied for one PWI, and it was because I was already technically, I had a shoe in there. All the schools that I applied to were all HBCUs.
Right.
So I loved it. I really wanted, that's all I wanted to do. And that's one choice. I don't regret much or anything, but that's one choice that I absolutely, hands down, would never change. Like, if I had the opportunity to.
had the experience of a lifetime. I would never
Exactly.
change anything.
Exactly. And Clark Atlanta don't play.
Yeah.
Clark...
And AUC don't play. It's a different monster over there. So yeah.
I love it. So then you came back to New York after you left Clark Atlanta. And this is when you basically bloomed in your career, when you made that decision to come to New York. So even though, you know, you were raised by the one, the only Shayla Scott, and I'm from Jersey. So
oh yeah, what part?
I'm from Plainfield. I currently live in Woodbridge.
Shut up. So you're right next door. I'm from Piscataway. So yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes. So, you know, with that being said, you know, like I said, I'm from Jersey. I was raised in Jersey. My parents are from Jersey. My parents are from New York. So they listen to WBLS, okay? And if it was one thing that I did that I had to listen to on the way home from school, was your mother. Okay? My mom did not play. She was like, you need to be quiet.
Right.
In the car, you need to be
Hello?
quiet. And, you know, to this day, I think your mom is so influential in this industry. And I think that, you know, of course, it rubbed off on you. And you're a product of that. Now, do you think that you would be Scottie Beam without your mother?
Oh, hell no. No. Hell no. Absolutely not. I had a moment where I fought being like my mom because my mom is such a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Like, and I was thinking that if I wanted to be her, I would have to like measure up. And the fact is, like, I can't. Still to this day, I don't care. No one measure up to my mom. I do not care. She is the legend for me. She's the icon. She is that for me. So I did not want to put myself in there. One, because I think I had low self-confidence. I didn't think that I could be as great. And so I ran from that. I was like, there has to be other things. And also I wanted to be an individual. I had this thing where I was like, I don't want to be Shayla's daughter. I want to have my own name and, you know, all that. So I fought that for a minute, thinking that I had to find my own thing. But me being myself was literally the best thing I could do. You know, I am my mother's child. I am the daughter of Shayla Scott. Absolutely. But there are some differences, and you know, she is the one that points out the differences and helps me grow with these things that I have, like these talents that I have, and enhance them. So she's just, you know, I wouldn't be, absolutely not. My mother is my blueprint. I say that all the time. You know, she is literally the reason why I'm here and the reason why I keep going. So there is nothing without her.
I love it. I love that. And, you know, with what you were saying, I did want to ask the differences that you see or even similarities that you see between Shayla Scott, the radio personality, the radio DJ, and Scottie Beam, the media personality, the producer, the host. What are some of the differences and similarities that you see?
I think I'm a bit more vulnerable than my mom, a bit more open. And that's just because of generational things. I'm a bit more open with a lot more experiences than my mother. But she is also she opened that door for me. You know, my mom speaks about being a domestic violence survivor. And so she really led the way with me being open and trying to help more women, more Black women with my story, because she did the same thing. So I think that's a similarity and that's a difference. You know, we are similar in a lot of ways. We love music. We talk about music for hours. We can do it for hours. And we love to uplift Black women. And we will do whatever it takes to uplift Black people and Black women specifically. So yeah, I think, you know, we have those in common. I think I'm just a bit more, a little louder, maybe. just a little, and again, it's a different time. I'm
Yeah.
sure if she had these, Instagram and social media platforms, uh, back then, that she would be me. Like, and she loves radio too. That's the difference as well. I love radio, but I love camera. And she does not like the camera. She's getting used to it. But my girl, she's getting used to it. We're getting her in the swing of things, with the Netflix special we just did. Yes. So she was like, she's getting to like it a little bit. She's all right.
Yeah,
I was actually gonna into
ask. I was gonna ask about the Netflix special. I loved that for us, right? Yeah. I thought it was so cute, so adorable. I do want to ask though. I was watching it. You guys were reviewing Why Do Fools Fall in Love, and your mom talked about her relationship with your father, right? And I wanted to know, not to get too deep into it. I know that there was some issues in that relationship. But what has that relationship taught you, seeing it?
So it has the relationship between my mother and my father. I got to see the good and the bad.
Yeah,
I got to see both. So I would say, like, some of the things that my father did to my mom, and also the stuff that he's caused on my family, of course, changed the way I felt about relationships and how, I should carry myself with, like, dealing with men. Like, what's the best way? And also, like, red flags. I was a runner, child. I would run everywhere. I was running. I was out. As soon as I saw an issue that I didn't like, I was out, because the conflict that I saw, I never wanted. I did not want that, and my mother is extremely strong. And like I said in the Netflix special, I'm just extremely proud that she chose herself, which is what's the biggest thing she could have done for this family. The greatest thing she did for this family is choosing herself, because I don't think I would be the same person if my mother stayed with my father, and was in this crazy relationship. And then I would have had a different take on shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I'm just very proud of my mom for choosing herself and choosing safety, choosing protection, choosing, her kids, and choosing that she feel a bit safer than where she was, just for the sake of keeping a family together.
Yeah.
So that's what I learned. I learned to choose myself. My mom has literally showed me how to choose myself with she choosing herself. So that's what I said. That's the, like, greatest thing I took away from that. And I'm so grateful that she did that.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful every day. I am very grateful that my mom did that.
And I asked that question because it's evident that the strength that your mom had and has been passed down to you, right? We see it in your tweets and in the way you speak in your podcast and about Black women, about loving yourself, about self-love, self-worth. We see that, right? Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to make sure that we highlighted that, you have that strength and where it came from. Because it does, you're right. That takes a lot to choose yourself.
Especially, yes, because, you got the peanut gallery in the back.
Yes.
That's like, hey, you got to stay with him because, the family, I got to keep the family together. What she's going to be like without a father. My brother, what's, he going to be like without a father? What are the people going to say? And my mom was like, fuck that. I mean, F that.
It's okay, girl. It's okay.
that doesn't exist. I want my kids to live a healthy life, a happy life.
Yes.
And if that's the best way that I could do, that I can give them a better quality of life, then I'll do that. That is what I'm going to do.
And I love that. Some people don't understand that. Like, some people don't understand that sometimes leaving is best for your kids than staying.
Absolutely.
But anywho.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love what she's taught you. And then, in that same realm of going on in your childhood. You know, I was watching the episode you were in on Black Coffee, right, on BET, with Mark Hill, Gia Peppers, and Jameer Pond. My faves.
My faves.
Yes, and so you mentioned right there that they were talking about colorism, and you mentioned that sometimes, or there was a point in your life that you weren't comfortable in your skin, right? And you mentioned before that, you know, that when you were younger, you had, you know, these issues with yourself, with self-esteem, things like that. Now, was that something just from your childhood? Has it changed? Has it updated? How are you feeling about who Scottie is now?
I think it's in a process of healing. I'm definitely better than a year ago. I'm better than 2 years ago. I'm better than 5 years ago. And I'm definitely better than childhood. But of course, I always talk about, you know, 13-year-old Deani, who still exists. I still have an inner child in me that has this fear of not being enough because of my complexion sometimes, you know, and I'm working through that because I know what's real and I know it's not real, you know, and I know the perception that people give to others and want to make people believe that they're unattractive, and me giving into this is basically letting them win.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. So yeah, I'm working towards that. I'm definitely better, way better. But of course, you know, the inner child exists in everybody.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's okay to have that moment with your inner child and talk to her like, hey, yo, like, I know you're really going through it right now. You are enough. You've done so much, and you taking these steps is a huge deal for you. You know, even quieting the negative words that you have for yourself is something that's like, you know, something you should be proud of. So that I tend to do daily. I make sure, you know, I try to do that often because I'm just like a lot of people. I might not talk to myself in a good way sometimes. I'm extremely critical, extremely, because I feel like everything can be better. But I know that I'm doing the best that I can.
Yeah.
And that is the only thing that I can do at this moment is the best that I can.
Yeah, that sounds like I'm the same exact way. I've been trying to work on talking to myself better. Even when it comes to small things like, oh, that was stupid. I like stop myself right then and there. Like, no, it was a mistake you made. It may not have been the smartest, but it's not stupid. You're not stupid. You know,
Right.
I audibly say these things, not even just say it in my head, but I audibly say these things out loud. Even if whoever's around, I don't care. Whoever's around, like, I need to hear myself say that. Because I need to work on treating myself better. Because who's gonna treat me good if I'm not treating myself?
I don't treat myself good.
Exactly.
Or try to change those habits at least. You know, make them a bit better. Because, you know, I am really bad. Like I used to be really bad. I'm better now, but just getting on myself, especially if I'm interviewing or I'm doing something, you know, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's not how I wanted to say the question, or that's not how I wanted to say it, or that's not, you know, and I'll spend hours upset about that one moment, you know, not realizing that, first of all, no one probably noticed. Two, you did a great interview, or you did, you know, a great piece, or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? So I don't focus on the accomplishment. I focus on the issue behind the accomplishment.
Yeah, listen, I'm the same exact way. It's giving very Libra. And,
Oh yeah.
I'm September 30th. I know you're October 3rd, so it's like it's giving very much Libra.
Yes, this is very Libra. This is a very Libra.
Very much so Libra.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Yeah, you know, and then going back to, you know, colorism in this industry, right? In the media industry specifically, I know I've been in position. I mean, I'm not no Scottie Beam, you know what I'm saying?
Girl,
like that. Please. I ain't up there yet. I mean, I'm gonna get there.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get there. But what I'm saying is that, you know, there have been opportunities that I've had in my life that I didn't get because I didn't fit the look, which would be that I'm not light enough, right? I'm a dark girl. You know, don't let these lights fool you. You know, I'm a dark girl.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? I've experienced that. And I know that there have been so many other women in this world who've experienced that in this industry specifically. How do you get past that? If you do, if you don't, that's totally fine too. But how do you take that on, you know, and acknowledge it, move forward, or accept it, acknowledge, you know, anything like that? How do you process that?
I've gotten plenty of, like, first of all, plenty of opportunities that have been told to me that I was too dark. That's one. Two, or it was the stereotype that they wanted to give. Like, they wanted me to be the loud, you know, one of those, while the next person who happened to be light skinned is more clear, you know, well spoken. So it was like, okay, I don't want that. I don't want to do that. I can't change the way I look, and I do not want to, ever. And that is the only thing that I can say to myself, and I move on, because their ignorance does not reflect anything on you. Like, it cannot. And the opportunity you didn't fucking want in the first place.
Right.
So, you know, people, I could be mad if I, you know, when I didn't get that opportunity because of my complexion. But did I really want that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you really want to be in a setting, in an environment where, you know, they were like, oh, okay, we'll let you do this. Or, oh, good, we got us a dark-skinned girl who's loud and no nonsense and speaks half English, or whatever the fuck they wanted. So you just have to say, no, I don't want that. That wasn't for me. It clearly was not for me. And I'm very grateful that they removed themselves out of the equation, out of my journey, because I know that there are better things coming. Yes. You understand? Yes. So I'm never upset. I'm never upset about things like that again, because why would I want to be in that kind of work environment?
Exactly. Ever? Exactly. And it's kind of just like, you know, you gotta sometimes when these situations are presented to you and you don't get those opportunities, you kind of just gotta sit back and think, like, whatever you believe in, God, the universe, whomever, you're like, thank you. Because that wasn't for me. So thank you. Because
especially those.
Yes, because you could have put me in that position. And I could have learned a terrible lesson in that. I could have been miserable in that position. But thank you. Because I didn't need to. You must already know that I already learned this lesson, so I didn't need to be there. So thank you. I appreciate that.
And then it helps to ask yourself, what are you upset about? Yes. What are you upset about? What would you like to change about this? So if you can answer those, or you're like, I mean, there's nothing I can change or would want to change, there's that. You know, now disappointment with other opportunities, like you auditioned and you messed up or whatever it is, and you're like, Jesus, now that I am very hard on myself with still, but I will always be grateful for error. Yeah. Because it makes me better. You learn immediately. You learn from everything. Everything. You literally, there's a lesson in everything. And this was actually going to be my next question. You know, you have interviewed so many people. You've been on so many shows. And you know, I personally, I am the type of person who believes, one, do nothing without intention, right? Word to Solange, do nothing without intention, right? Yeah. And two, there is a lesson in everything. Everything. Absolutely. Even when you go outside and go to your car, just go to the grocery store and come back, there is a lesson in that, right? And with that being said, if you were to put all of your experiences in like a mixing bowl, mix them all up, merge them into one big ass experience, and you take that little ball out, what would the overarching takeaway be from all of this? What, like, if God forbid tomorrow was your last day, right? What would be something you walk away with? That I did everything fearlessly. that, yes, there was fear, sure. But I really took a chance on myself, and that makes me fearless. So I would say I took a chance. I bet on myself. A lot of people don't do that, and a lot more people should. And I think that's my greatest takeaway. If we, jumble everything that I've done or everything, that I did, I would say, yeah, that girl on that tombstone, I would say that girl took a chance, child. She took a chance on herself. Because I did it the hard way. Every way was hard. I did it the hard way all the way through. Yeah. And I'm sure there was a better way. But I went my way. And I think that's my greatest, I guess attribute is me figuring it out. Learning there are lanes that I want to get in. I'm going to find a way to get in those lanes. And that's it. That's the only thing, yeah, it's going to take some time. I'm going to be patient. But I'm going to make sure that I touch that lane before I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. That's what I would say. There are no, it is really limitless for me.
Yes. Come on, Pastor. Come on, you gotta preach, preacher.
Right. And I don't believe in that. I definitely don't believe in limits, or you need to stay in one lane and do different. Everybody knows that I don't believe in that at all. If you want to do it, do it. You just got to make sure that you work for it, that you know what you're doing, what you're talking about. But don't think that you need to be in one lane and one lane only for the rest of your life, because that's not going to be it. You are a multi-dimensional person.
The same thing, like me personally, my own page, my brand is Zaina the Brand, right? And I called myself that in 2016 because I was doing so many things, right? So many things that I was passionate about, and so many things that I knew that I was good at, right? And I felt like people kept saying, well, what do you do? What are you doing? Like, I can't, are you this one thing? You have to be this one thing. And I always felt like I'm more than that one thing. I'm not, whatever you want me to be, this one thing you want me to be, I feel like I will not find happiness in that. And I won't be satisfied in that one thing that you are putting on me. So I called myself Zaina the Brand because it's the brand. There are so many different things. It's not Zaina the media host or Zaina whatever it is I do. It's the brand. And I love that. And I resonate with what you're saying. Because one lane isn't normal. Isn't natural. People change. People evolve daily. Yeah. And to stunt yourself of that growth is ridiculous to me, right? So
also, we're multidimensional. We have so many layers.
Yeah.
We come with so many layers, so many hobbies we love, so many things that we discover throughout life.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me that I can't work on them because I already chose a lane? That's not, that doesn't compute. I don't understand that. So if you want to do it, do it.
Do it.
Do it. And if you love it that much, you'll find time for it.
Yes. Now, really quick, when I was labeling, going down the list of the things that you did, you were making a face. Now, I just want to know, how does it feel? I know people don't usually take a step back from their work and look at what they've done, but how does that feel when when people say, Scottie, oh my God, you did all these amazing things, and you're like, girl, what up? Huh? I did that. What? How does that feel to you?
I don't know. I'm not good at that. Often, my boyfriend would say, he would say for 5 seconds, I would celebrate whatever it is that I did or whatever. And I'd be like, all right, what's next? Yeah. I gotta do something. I'm not doing enough. And I'm working on that. Even with you saying I did so much, I haven't even done. I feel like there should be more at this age. At 30 years old, I should have more. And I'm going to bet that I am going to do more. I'm definitely going to do more. I just want to feel like it's enough. Yeah. And I'm sure it'll never be enough, but that's what I tell myself. Eventually, I'll get to a place where I feel like it's enough. But it's truly a blessing. That does not mean that I am not grateful. I am extremely grateful for every opportunity that was given to me, or, you know, that I've earned. Because, again, people didn't think that it was a thing. Like, I could do that. Yeah. Like, people, as soon as I dropped out of school was no longer an option, people already counted me out. And that made me count myself out. So I knew from that point, that I would have to show up for me, because it's going to get lonely. It is going to be very lonely, because there are times where I'm going to mess up. I've messed up so many times, and I've only had myself. Yeah. You know? So you're going to, because you sit with yourself at the end of the day. Yes, everybody pouring into you, calling you is great. When you sit down with yourself, you have to be okay with you. Yeah. And that's the best work. That's the hardest work too, is yourself. So yeah, I said that to say I'm very grateful. I have more to do though. So much more. I hope I have more.
We are excited to see. You do have more. We're excited to see what more there is to come. Now, this is my absolute last question, because I know I be holding up people. I don't want to hold up nobody.
Girl, talk. Go ahead.
Now, you know, in an interview in 2017, you were asked what advice you would give to a woman that is trying to be in the same position that you are, right? And although I don't personally like those types of questions, only because I feel like it's so cliche, right? What kind of advice would you give? But I will ask. At the time, you said research, creativity / building your own lane, and trusting the process, right? What's for you will be for you. Now, with that being said, is that the same advice you would give Deani at 15, 16? Like, if you can go back in time and go talk to her, what advice would you give her?
I would say, if I could give 15-year-old Deani advice, I would say you are talented. It does not have to look like what other people have been saying that talent has to look like, or one thing that you have, the thing that, you know, I remember at 15, people were already gearing up to be like, you know, I kind of know what I want to go to school for. I had no idea. Nothing. I didn't know what it is, what I like. I just like music. Yeah. The best I could do. So I would say that's the only thing, in that, you know, you are pretty. You know, you are a beautiful girl. And I think that too, I lacked. I thought I was very unattractive at 15. Mm-hmm. So that did a number on my self-confidence. So yeah, I would just say that you have it. You have something. And it's okay. Like, trust me, we're good. We got this. But I would definitely apply what I said previously to 15-year-old Deani. Trust the process. Trust it. You can't change it. Mm-hmm. You know? So that's the only thing I would say. That's the only advice that I can give, is to be yourself, period. Be yourself and trust the process.
Hey guys, it's Zaina. Thanks for checking out our Media Conversation Series episode. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and watch the rest of our Media Conversation Series videos only on Black Girls in Media.